Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hanging with Web show right here on HWWS WebTV. This was an amazing year for us. We expanded beyond just our show. We have about 7 shows that are all being broadcast from our YouTube channel right now. So it's amazing. Thank you for being here. Subscribe. Every day, the Hanging with Web show puts out another interview with an author, artist, filmmaker, comic creator. We find a creative person. Creative people of all kinds, any kind. So we are hanging out right now at Central Florida Comic-Con, and we're hanging out with our good friends Matt Knowles and Steph Cannon, comic creators at INSYMMETRY Creations.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
That's
And
right.
when we first talked to them, we talked to them about Heirs of Isildur. And that's how we introduced them, the creators of Heirs of Isildur. But as you heard, they are doing so much that we had to expand that a little bit. So you guys, INSYMMETRY Creations, you got a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
You guys are a creative buffet.
That's right.
Yeah, smorgasbord of.
Smorgasbord of creativity, that's right. So first of all, Heirs of Isildur.
Yes.
I want to touch on this because when we met last year, we saw Heirs of Isildur. And you guys were out there slogging comic books, okay? But this is not what I saw.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to get the side view here, guys.
There's some weight to that.
There's some heft here, okay? And so when you first came up with this project, which one of you thought this up? That's okay. Now, after she looked at you and went, "Are you serious?" After that, how did you get from there to here, man?
So it was originally supposed to be 11 issues of a comic series, which is what it is. It started off as an ebook that turned into an illustrated novel, which is going to be just a book with some illustrations that support the
some
text.
of the art, right? Yeah.
As it progressed forward, as the art team changed, as stuff came on board, as the artist changed from Blake Wilkie to Javi Laparra, it started to become more of a comic. When we got to the point of, hey, we want to turn this into a trade at the end of the 11 issues, we're like, we can't go put out a trade with multiple different writing formats in the same book.
Yeah.
So we took 2 months over the past summer to
Wow.
go back from page 1, relettered the entire thing, and not only relettered, we did some reformatting, so issues that may
different
have
art here and
well,
there.
Yeah, issues that may have taken 28 pages to do before may only take 21 now. We abridged some of the text, we cleaned it up a little bit. Steph's got a much different writing mind than I do, which actually plays really well together. So there may be things that I wanted to be wordy and verbose on that she was like, dude, we can clean this up a little bit, and we did, and now it's much better for it.
Okay. Yeah, well, because you said to her, "Let's do this," and she was like, "Okay, let's do it my way." I know what that's like because I said, "Let's do the show." And see all them back there? Yeah, that's what they said. We'll do it their way, and we do.
That's right.
Yes, so, wait. What's that card say? Why does it say that? All right, I'm going to ask you because I guess I'm supposed to. There's music too? Wait a minute. What is that about? Wait.
Well, I'll give you the catchphrase for Heirs of Isildur, and she can explain it if she wants.
Okay.
The phrase for Heirs of Isildur is where steampunk, comics, and metal collide.
Where steampunks, comics, and metal collide.
So,
I got comics
Yep.
that are steampunk.
so
Where's
there
the metal
is
coming?
there's a 12-track metal CD that goes along
Wow.
with it, and it's kind of like a companion,
Okay.
form of media to it. But there will be parts in the comic where you're reading where it'll say, if you want to learn more about this character, go to this song, and the song is kind of like a little bit more, gives you just a little bit more background information on that character. So he's a musician. He before he did what we do now, he was in a metal band, and so some of the songs were written, 10
So
plus
the
years
origins,
ago.
like 10 years ago,
Yeah. So it's
And I want to remind our audience too that, and we say this all the time. We have our indie music spotlight that we produce every week, and I like to let people know, music is storytelling.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
And what you guys are able to do in 3 to 4 minutes takes us
yeah.
a lot of pages, and you guys boil that down to 3.5 minutes sometimes.
Yes.
So And now, so some of that older music and some newer stuff mixes and helps to enhance the story of Heirs of
Yes.
Isildur.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a multimedia experience
That's
you're
exactly
building
what we
here.
say.
When is the movie?
You know what? Whenever the producer wants to come up and actually put it together.
Just saying, they
maybe
got
it's that-
music, they got a book, they got comics, they got pictures.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you guys have got a studio and you've got a camera. When are we doing it?
Let's rock.
So
You saw it here first, and we have no idea what we're talking about, but we're just gonna riff on that and go. Okay, she's got a whole nother title over there
she
because
does.
apparently multimedia genre bending wasn't enough, and you guys were like, yeah, but what do we do Saturday?
that's the case.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, what are we looking at? What is this?
So this is Tales from Nocturnia.
Tales
Um,
from Nocturnia.
Nocturnia, yes. It is.
I'm already going to tell you right now, folks, if you live in a place called Nocturnia, move. Okay? It's not, there's bad stuff that's going to go down. That's a blue guy. He's still got, it looks like, is there blood? He's still got blood. Who knew? Okay, give me the book blurb on this.
It is a medieval fantasy series that we started that's actually a spin-off from Heirs. And when we say spin-off, we just mean that there is some things that are referenced in Heirs of Isildur that we expand upon with this story.
So same
That's the
universe.
best.
It's a shared universe. Ish.
To a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of portals and people being pulled from other dimensions.
It's a shared multiverse.
Shared multiverse.
There you go.
So things that are able to happen in Nocturnia may not be things that can happen in Heirs.
That was a word that nobody knew at all when I was like, when I
Yeah,
first started
exactly.
reading comic books, the idea of a multiverse. What is that? Today, it's something that we love to play in.
Yeah, now everybody understands what
Because
it
we
means.
can flip and twist and do a lot of
Yes.
things. And you guys, obviously, Nocturnia.
Yeah, so this is.
Which one of you dreams dark?
That's, I would say, 100% 50-50 right there.
Yeah, it's
100%
definitely both of us
50,
in
you just-
different ways. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so.
All right.
So in this series, we're co-writing, whereas with Heirs, he was already started before I came along. This was kind of a melding of the minds to create this one. It's a 3-issue series. Issue 1 is out now, and issue 2 is in production. We actually kickstarted both of them and successfully funded for.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, indie comics has had a boom on Kickstarter and,
Oh, yeah.
and through crowdfunding and crowdsourcing, both in talent, finding artists and inkers and things like
Yes.
that, and in funding, which is great. What were the challenges of working in that format, though? Because it's been a boom, but it's getting very competitive now, and it's
Yes.
also. It is new tech for a lot of people who are out there, trying to figure out how to crowdfund their thing. What were the biggest challenges that you guys faced in doing that?
I would say one of the biggest challenges is finding a way to be able to differentiate yourself without being negative about the other campaigns and the other writers that are out there, because we're all part of the same community. We all support each other. How can you make yourself rise above and still be able to support the other people that are out there? We like to say, understand what the currency is that you bring to the table. We already had 10 issues of Heirs. We already had a metal CD. Steph already had pieces that were in Alterna Comics, some of their anthologies. We already had a track record of putting out quality work.
Okay.
We had a good reputation in the industry, so we knew that we could go out there and we could put these titles out there and people knew they were going to get quality from us. We see some individuals that don't have that same currency behind them, that have unrealistic expectations of what they can get from a crowdfunding source, and they're disappointed because they're like, why didn't I get $10,000-$15,000
and then
on
you
my
got-
brand new
I-
16-page issue? Well, you don't have currency to get that many people to go
And
and support
you got guys like me that just, honestly, and I say this, I mean no disrespect to anybody my age or older, but we're from a different world.
Yeah.
And I look at that, and my brain pops. It breaks when I try, how to balance. I barely make my social media work.
Yeah.
I'm barely doing these things, and then somebody says, you can monetize those things through crowdfunding, and I'm like, I don't know. That's like a set of buttons to push that my brain can't fathom how it works. And when I see you guys so successfully doing it and funding these projects, and building a bigger audience for your work, it is amazing to me. And I do. Congratulations so much
you.
for getting
Thank
through
you.
those and successfully crowdfunding those things. Biggest rewards working in that world. crowdfunding and putting it out? Because you're building an audience before the stuff is out.
Correct.
So they're buying something, like you said, based on your track record, sight unseen.
Faith,
we haven't seen what
really.
you've done.
Yeah.
We're buying something that we hope we're going to like. Biggest reward
I think
of working that way.
For me, what's been rewarding doing a second campaign is seeing the return backers. And not just because you have the friends and family that are going to support you no matter what. You're going to have the people that are already...
Hear that, friends and family? Send a check.
Friends and family,
wait for it.
or
They
other
just
people...
all signed off. They were afraid I saw them. Anyway, go
Other
ahead.
people in the industry, you know that they're going to support you. It's the people that came across your campaign that you don't know. To see those names again the second time around, you go, okay, we were doing something right. You know, it's just a really nice feeling.
You guys have been doing the convention circuit. That's how we met last year, and we're here now. So on the convention circuit, what are those interactions like? What was that like for you to be on the convention circuit and then to maybe run into one of those backers or fans that was new? New name, just come up to the table. Hey, guess what? I like to ask the guys that have been, you know, the last couple of years has been a boom in creativity. And a lot of us have been slogging away for 3 or 4 years, but last year and the year before that, things really started to pop. And I know it was that way for you guys. I see that it was that way for you guys, okay? So as things started to pop, that first guy that comes up to the table holding a book that he didn't buy at the table, that he comes up and says, I got this online, can you sign it?
Well,
what is that experience?
I'll tell you, I know exactly what her answer would be to this. One of the coolest things ever had happened, we were at Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle last March. And we were there on Saturday just walking the floor, and it's really, really crowded. More crowded than probably any show around on a Saturday. And we're just walking down the aisle in our steampunk, and a guy walks by and he goes, Alterna Comics, smash, and he slams his bag on the ground because he recognized us from doing Alterna Comics Live. We're on Pacific Northwest, and somebody recognized us, walking the floor, asked to get Steph to sign a book of hers that he had with him that he got at the show.
Yeah, I mean that's like one of those things. It's like that's a bucket list experience. But we have had backers that have come up.
Marcus and I were just talking earlier, and we were sharing our stories of those first times. And I said, you know, that's one of those things that in my mind, you check it off the list, and you hope that memory never goes away. Because it's so special.
Yes.
It's a magic moment.
Yeah.
I told Marcus the first time it happened to me, somebody brought a book up to the table and you know, was working the merchandise and things like that, and she's trying to get my attention, and I'm literally looking at the camera going, no, go away, I'm doing an interview, and Sage held up a card and it said, they didn't buy the book here, they brought it here, and I'm like, okay, cut. I stopped the show. I'm like, cut. That's it. I have to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's such a magical moment. Because it doesn't. You're like, whoa. They didn't. You mean they didn't? You know. And she had a whole pile of books, and I'm like, she didn't buy any of those here. And she's like, no, she brought those here, which means she paid more because you get it online or whatever, you know, instead of from us.
I can tell you one of the coolest things that ever happened to me. I don't remember the first time I signed something because I had, you know, a career before previously.
Well,
doing
music
metal.
and yeah.
But issue 7 of HEIRS, we had 33 people drawn into it, including a lot of our family members, our kids.
Oh, how cool.
And my daughter, my youngest daughter at the time, I think she was 12. Was Cameron 12 then?
She might have been
was
12,
working the table with me. Somebody came up and bought issue 7. They're like, will you sign it for me? Sure. And they're like, she's in the issue too. I want her to sign it too. And that was the first time that she actually got to sign
That's cool.
that issue. We have a picture of her signing it. Like that was a moment I was not expecting. I was not prepared to have somebody ask my 12-year-old to sign the issue. And that was really cool.
It's wonderful to be on this circuit like this, though, with the little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much fun for me to sit and watch him when he has prints, sign his prints, and you know, and I'm like, he's 9.
Yeah.
He's at a convention. He's met all these great people and these wonderful creators. He'll never forget, you know, he was out there, a part of the show, part of it. So it's amazing. That's the we've been talking to long card, that she's wobbling down there.
Oh, she's saying she wants you to read those things. What if I read those things for you?
You can. Would you please thank my partners and friends for me?
Your partners and friends? You mean partners and friends like Famous Faces and Funnies?
Yes.
J. Bauer Art, Space Coast Comics, Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida, Brevard Film and Talent, Mommy and G Creations.
I'm really proud of that one right there, guys. By the way, Mommy and G Creations, that is my beautiful daughter-in-law and my wonderful granddaughter.
Oh,
and
nice.
they create our merchandise.
Okay, cool.
So they
Love
are
it. That's
doing awesome. So.
Well, we also can't forget you got NSCLiveTV.com
Boom.
and Entertainment Inc. /Inc. Fusion Magazine.
That's right, because they let Harry come and hang out on the set today. Thank you guys, all of you. Thank you for logging on and tuning in. Come back for more to see who we're hanging with next. Matt, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Awesome. That
Thank
was
you so much.
fantastic. You guys are.
Thank you.